guys, welcome to Art and Soul with Heather. I've been coming across a lot of photos of horses lately, and I don't know about you, but when I see horses, I just think what stunning creatures they are. I mean, to me, in my opinion, I think they are one of the most beautiful creatures God ever created to roam this earth. And so seeing their photos, I thought, what a wonderful opportunity this is to show you guys how to draw and paint some anatomy, basic anatomy. Now, I understand that that word alone can throw a lot of people into an uncomfortable zone because that's really an area that really a lot of people think that's outside of their skill range. But basic anatomy is really something that everybody can do at a basic skill level because basic anatomy is just composed of basic shapes, which you'll see today in today's tutorial. So I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, but I also wanted to let you guys know that my husband went out of his way and treated me to these beautiful new metallic paints by Arteza, which are basically just all the colors of the rainbow plus a couple of basic colors, white and black. So I had to put them to the test to see how they're going to look on the canvas, shimmering and, reflect how they reflect and all that kind of stuff. So what do you get when you put together a horse's head and rainbow colors? At least I came up with a unicorn. I don't know, maybe the little girl got struck inside or something and it had to come out, but I thought, what a fun project. Oh my goodness. So anyways, I hope you have as much fun as I did. But again, more importantly, and I always say this and I always will, just forget about the clock. Don't think about how hard this can be because it's anatomy. Just think what a new direction you're going to go in and have fun with it. And I will be providing the step-by-step instructions for you to make your tutorial process go easier. So just be rested in that. Again, let's just have fun and make this moment about you. All right, so let's get started.
I'm beginning my project by sketching basic shapes to form the horse's head. Take note the larger oval is about twice the size as the smaller one. Simply connect them with lines to form the head and then draw on the neck, widening at the end to suggest it going into the main part of its body. The horn is just a long skinny triangle followed by the ears, which are also triangular in shape. Lastly, I draw an oval for the nostril and sort of a triangular shape for the eyeball. Next, I'm just making tweaks to make the head look more realistic and to get it ready for painting. You'll see I sketch and erase a lot, but it's because I'm just trying to get it the way I want it. Unfortunately, anatomy sketches take more time, but they're not as difficult as they may appear. Again, they are composed mostly of basic shapes. Getting proportion down is where it can get a little more tricky. I decided I wanted to change the horn's angle some. You can leave the angle however you drew it in, or you can change it. We're still sketching here, so make as many tweaks as you'd like. Don't forget you could still make tweaks in the painting stage as well. You'll see me later in the painting portion and make some myself. Never see them as mistakes, they're just tweaks. Even if you painted over lines, you could still fix it. Okay, now on to painting it. I'm beginning by filling in the head using my 1/2-inch tip flat brush with white, not just as the base coat, but to also work with wet on wet paint. Notice I'm doing a lot of back and forth brush strokes that are parallel to the outline of the head. As I move down to the neck, I'm still using white, but I switch my brush to my 3/4-inch tip flat brush. A bigger brush covers a larger area more quickly. Again, notice I'm doing up and down brush strokes or making brush strokes parallel to its neckline. Simply put, I'm just contouring. Back to the head using my 1/2-inch tip flat brush, I put another thin coat of white before I add some gray sky for coloring as well as shadowing. You'll see I go back and forth between this brush and my 3/4-inch tip flat brush to achieve an overall skin tone. I also add in the color Antique Nickel just under its head along the neckline for shadowing. You don't have to do any shadowing if you're not comfortable with it, but if you like a challenge, try contouring with darker shades like I am here to help keep various parts look more pronounced and realistic. I'm going to keep the snout or nose area darker than the top of the head just to give the horse more coloring, but again, you can keep it as simple as a clean white. I add some shadowing by the eye that's not fully exposed to give it more dimension. After I have the overall look down that I like, I run the blow dryer to dry everything up so I can move on to the nostrils without them blending too much. Here I'm using my number 5 round tip fine detail brush with the color black, and as you can see, I just painted a sliver of the nostril since it's not fully exposed. The other one is where I ended up changing my mind and covering it so I can bring it down a notch. I also draw on the mouth line, but as I go to cover the nostril, I switch to my number 6 flat shader brush to soften up the mouth line some with more gray sky and white. As I cover up the nostril, I make sure everything else is still nicely blended. Finally, I paint in the nostril where I want it in the shape of an oval, keeping it darker on the right and lighter on the left to give it some depth. This is all the detail I'm going to do just to keep it as simple as possible while looking as realistic as I can get. I go back to the jaw to put more shadowing in there. I really want to accentuate it since the horse's jawline is very pronounced and muscular. All I'm doing is semicircular type brush strokes and lightly lifting my brush at the end so I don't have harsh lines and blend it in with more white. I grab my pencil and lightly sketch in where I want to place the eye. For the eye, I use a combination of brushes such as my number 5 round tip fine detail brush, my number 6 flat shader, and my 1/4 inch tip flat brushes. This is where I spend a good portion of my time because there's so much detail going on in such a small area. You don't have to add as many details if you don't want to. I just enjoy shading and blending. Again, I'm not going full-fledged on details here, but I want to add enough to bring it to life and add as much as I can without making the whole project too overwhelming. As you can see, I begin by using the color brown to fill in the eyeball before I move on to black for the pupil and outlining. I add in a combination of gray sky, antique nickel, and white for shading around the eye that gives it more depth and adds to the overall detail of the head. You'll see I continue to contour around the eye to achieve this shadowing effect. I go back to the eyeball with black and brown to clean up my lines within the eye. Next, I add a wee bit of white to add some highlights. I also use white on the top portion of the eye to suggest it having some white eyelashes. Moving on to the ears, I switched to my number 6 flat shader and my number 5 round tip fine detail brushes again, using antique nickel and a touch of white to paint the inside of the ears for shadowing. Next, I add a touch of black to increase the darkness of my shadowing a little. I use white and gray sky again for the outside of the ears to match the skin tone with the rest of the horse. For the horn, I changed brushes again to my number 10 round tip brush using the color Glorious Gold to fill it in, followed by the color Brown with my number 5 round tip fine detail brush to suggest some shadowing at each angled ring. I switched my brush back to my number 6 flat shader using the colors White and Gray Sky to create shadowing at the base of the horn, again just contouring or doing semicircular brush strokes. Finally, onto some jazzy colors for the flowing hair. These are all by Arteza and are metallic colors of the rainbow. These are 8 out of the 10 colors that come in the box, black and white being the remaining 2. Using my 1/4 inch tip flat brush, I paint in the hair, making random wavy lines to give the look of flowing hair. I'm pretty generous with my paints here because I want excess paint on the edges of my paintbrush to not only add texture, but to add to the flowing hair look. I just wipe my brush off between each color, and when I finish a color, I go back and make a brush stroke between the colors to blend it in a little. I go back and add more bangs, but later decided I wanted to take some away, so I painted them over with white as I did with the entire canvas to give my painting a clean look, but that part is off camera. For finishing touches, I add some glitter to the hair. I mean, why not? Just look at these beautiful shimmering colors. They shine just about at every angle too. Here's the finished product. What a fun project. I love color, and those metallic colors really vamped up the painting. This is such a cute piece to add to a little girl's room or to give to someone who just really likes horses. I'll be honest, I've always wanted a horse, but I never had one. My mom did growing up, and boy am I envious, which is wrong because I have countless other blessings in my life, but still, they are such beautiful creatures, and I can only imagine the bond between the rider and the horse. If you liked the tutorial, please be sure to not only share it, but to also hit like and to subscribe for more videos. But more importantly, remember to thank God for this opportunity and always paint from the soul.